Blake Cullen, and I lead growth marketing here at Support Logic. I have the honor of introducing our next session, Winning the Availability Battle, IBM Proactive Support Explained, presented by Bina Hallman and Chris Fender. Proactive support is very near and dear to our hearts at Support Logic, so I'm really excited about this session. Quickly, I'll give a quick intro on Bina and Chris, and then we'll get started. Bina Hallman is a highly accomplished senior executive serving the VP Client Advocacy Systems at IBM. With a successful track record of leading multi-billion-dollar storage portfolio, Bina is recognized for her strategic thinking and expertise in storage, hybrid cloud, and AI. She excels in driving business transformations while implementing technologies and innovative solutions. Bina is dedicated to helping clients transform their businesses and thrive in the digital economy. She thrives on tackling challenges, situations, and is known for her strong executive presence, regularly presenting at product launches, national sales and channel partner meetings, IBM conferences, and industry trade shows worldwide. Bina's leadership extends to the team building and empowerment, recognizing that great teams deliver exceptional outcomes and groundbreaking innovations. Her coaching ability further enables individuals to reach their highest levels of contribution and performance. Now, a little bit about Chris. Chris is the offering leader at IBM Support Insights. He has worked in support and service roles for over 25 years, specifically focused on data, analytics, and AI software. He's applying his expertise to the maintenance of support and IT infrastructure with Support Insights. He's a husband and father of 3 in Raleigh, North Carolina. He was born in Canada, so he plays hockey twice a week, loves to golf, cook, and travel with his family. And the kids, they especially love camping. I'm thrilled to have you and Bina here today, Chris. I'll now pass it over to Bina.
All right, very good. Thank you. And thanks for that wonderful introduction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, Chris and I are very excited, of course, to have this opportunity. And thank you all for joining us. We've got 30, 45 minutes or so. We're going to start off taking a look a little bit at what are we hearing from the clients and some of the market insights we get from the analysts. We'll talk a little bit and share with you what our view is on how support overall is transforming as clients and their business needs transform, and then get into a view around our holistic support strategy. And one of the key components of our support strategy is one of the products that Chris is working on around Support Insights. So we'll talk a little bit about that and engage in a short Q&A with Chris. And then we'll wrap it up, open it up for Q&A from the audience. All right. So with that, why don't we go ahead and get started? So thinking about, what are we hearing from our clients and what are the analysts telling us? It's really about a priority of improving IT reliability and resiliency. That is what our clients are focused on. And that's, hardly a surprise given how impactful systems downtime can be on their business, not only from a financial impact where, they might have regulatory implications or penalties associated with downtime, but more significantly, really systems downtime impacting their end users. And when a system goes down and users get impacted, sometimes they never come back. And you're then losing customers, right? Now, what does a downtime mean? What really drives that? That can be anything from the workload attributes. Maybe your workload is more strenuous than what your system is capable of doing, or it's not optimized for. You can have hardware failures, and these days we have threats around cybersecurity, cyber resiliency, or some organizations may not have significant automation. So they're really depending on humans and to do manual tasks. And we as humans, sometimes we end up having human errors. So really, some of those are some of the factors that impact downtime. But another key one is one that you see here that IDC has talked about. When they work with companies, when they survey them, one of the things that they hear is those clients that have multi-vendor environments. So they have in their data center systems from different vendors. In those environments, they saw more downtime issues than they might have seen if it was a single source environment. So then you ask yourself, well, okay, then how do you maintain high availability and reduce the impact and cost of the downtime? It's not always or most of the time feasible to really just have a single source kind of a solution, right? And really that's where it gets down to support services. The type of support services, the quality of the support services that you have is really what directly impacts downtime. And when you think about where those services should be, focused, one of the things IDC recommends, and it makes sense, right, to make sure that you prioritize your IT services on those workloads that are the most critical, on those systems running workloads that are the most critical for your business operations and success. Really view them as an investment in preserving the business value, right? And while the IT services that you get may have some general benefits from a support services perspective, whether it's reduced incidents, faster incident resolution, or reduced systems downtime, at the end of the day, all of that then drives lower cost and improved client satisfaction, right? And you can see the type of savings when you do take a structured approach and prioritize some of those critical environments and take a systematic approach. You can see client saving here, 290 hours of downtime for their server, storage, networking environments, depending on the type of support contracts they have. And more specifically, 79 hours of savings of unplanned downtime by using predictive and proactive support tools. So you can see that really making sure, taking a systematic approach of focusing the IT services based on the workload criticality and leveraging some of those predictive and proactive sets of capabilities can have a pretty important benefit on your overall business. And when we talk about support, and I mentioned earlier, right, support's evolving as the technology and the business models evolve. So is really the role of technical support. Historically, we've seen where support's been considered, it's almost a complementary, but not necessarily the thing that drives the success of the business. But that's all changed now. We know that that whole model of just doing reactive break-fix support is no longer sufficient. The environments are more complex. The uptime and having that availability is really, really critical for businesses. And that's where we've really been focused on moving more and more to predictive and proactive approach, where we end up fixing some of the problems before they even happen to make sure that the clients get the maximum uptime. So instead of waiting for an issue and then reacting to it, take some very prescriptive actions and potentially automate these actions on the client's behalf. Not everything can be done that way, but there are some things that can, and where possible, that's where the focus is really from a predictive, proactive support. And I'll talk a little bit about that. The other piece that we see shift in and evolution in is how it is our clients want to get the support. It's not only what support services are available, but how can they get those? How can they get to those? So things like digital self-service, we're seeing more and more of our clients and IT users that really want to be able to get support via just a digital self-service model. They want to be able to go do the search look at some of the videos, look at knowledge documents, use things like chatbot and live agent chat instead of picking up a phone or calling somebody or, opening up a case. Those are different channels, and being able to provide clients support in a way that they want it and when they want it is really, really important. So we've got that other aspect. And we're seeing that self-service is becoming more and more relevant. And for us, from a overall end-to-end support strategy, it's a pretty powerful set of capabilities, because what we're able to do is, in things like our chatbot, infuse some of our Watson X technologies and different types of AI capabilities into those support tools, right? Now, as we think about the strategy, and I said, we'll talk a little bit about our holistic support strategy at IBM. There are really 4 key components that you see, really. It's about making sure that we are leveraging the data from various different sources to do predictive support and analytics, take proactive actions, and also provide a set of services to our clients that allow them to optimize their systems. But also this key thing about, having a complex environment, have a single point of contact for multi-vendor environments. In terms of predictive support, if you look at the top, this is really around making sure that our customers have ongoing insights and preventive maintenance, whether it's around security, maintenance coverage alerts that help them, identify, this product lifecycle exposure exists in your IT environment, or hey, you might have an outage in this hybrid environment that you might want to take a look at. We leverage data from the different sources and combine them with things like some of the foundation models that we're developing to do things like anomaly detection, to make sure that as we see systems telemetry data, log data, performance data, that we can detect whether we're seeing some anomalies and help prevent potential outages. We also look at systems performance and workload attributes to look at patterns and predict failures, so that we can proactively provide service and warn the client before the system goes down. And that proactive component, it really is around making sure that the IT staff in the client environment is spending less time on the day-to-day activities and avoiding the downtime. So for things like firmware and code updates, right? It's not always when you have hundreds of devices in an environment to know kind of, are you at the latest or the recommended code levels? We proactively provide that kind of indication and alerting. We leverage analytics and machine learning that I talked about previously, to do things like, let's say, a storage system, just a simple scenario. Your workload attributes are changing, and all of a sudden you're consuming more capacity than you had originally modeled. Well, being able to kind of get an alert that tells you, hey, in a few weeks, if you continue with this workload, you're gonna run out of capacity. If you don't do something about it in 2 days, you're gonna run out of capacity, right? And we all know what happens when a storage runs out of capacity, the system goes down. Well, by getting these alerts, you have the opportunity, our clients have the opportunity to take action before that system goes down. So that's kind of an example of a proactive support. From an optimization services, of course, it's not just around performance of the system, but also there may be some skills gaps or, adopting new set of latest code or technologies, right? And working through that. And then, like I said, the multi-vendor capabilities, that's really around single point of contact across the data center, storage, server, networking, et cetera. Right, so that is the holistic support. So how do we do some of this? I talked about needing and having different sets of data sources. To be able to do predictive and proactive support, you need a lot of data to really do it well, right? You need a lot of data, you need to analyze that data, and that data can come from multiple sources. For us, when we're developing these models and doing the tuning, we get data from the product that's running in the client environment, the systems, the software. We get data from our tickets, we have hundreds of thousands of systems out there, and we get support tickets on the different products, and we have trends and things we can take a look at there. We get data from working with our development team and our reliability, availability services team to understand the system attributes. We get data from our test and QA teams. And then there's client-specific data. There's configuration data, and maybe somehow how they've implemented the system or the software in their environment. So you can see there's like different types and vast amounts of data. And the more of this data that we have to feed into our models and our analytics tools, the higher the confidence that we have in being able to detect an issue and provide the right recommendation from a solution perspective. And the approach that we've taken, one of the things we do to get system intelligence is through what we call Call Home. And that's what you see here. And what Call Home really does when it's implemented, this feature, when it's turned on, it allows us to see the health of the system, the functionality of the system, and we can get this information 24/7, 365, right? And we take this data, collect it, and then use some of the other data sources, and then combining that, we're able to proactively or predictively, detect some of these failures before they occur. We work with our development team to create rules and patterns. And so with that, as the product is running, if there's a serious error or a pattern, a known pattern is detected through this Call Home capabilities, we sent an alert out automatically to both the IBM support engineer, but also the client on a single pane of glass, right? And we provide them the details of, hey, you've got an error here, or here's an alert, that you might want to take a look at. And if it is a problem that we detect through our analysis and patterns we recognize, then and it's a known issue, then we'll go ahead and recommend a fix to the client. We'll automatically, electronically create a case, set up a time and a date for the fix to be applied, whether it's, if it's a code fix, then, do the remote code load. Or another example might be that, hey, we've detected that you might have a component like a drive going bad in your system, and that in the near future, you might have a failure. So it would be good for us to schedule some time during a maintenance window to change out this component, right? And so an automated request is sent. We order the part. The on-site service representative is notified, and they schedule the time and replace the failed part before the part even fails. So those are some examples of the way we leverage this set of capabilities to really make sure that our clients are getting the fullest potential of the system with the maximum uptime, right? So I've talked a lot about some of the back end pieces of the how we do and what we do, but what I'd like to do now is really open it up and bring Chris Fender, our product manager for Support Insights, into the discussion and hear a little bit more about another tool that's more client facing, as well as our support engineers use, and talk a little bit about what it allows clients to do. So Chris, before we get into that, why don't you share a little bit more about yourself, but also where you're focused from a Support Insights perspective.
Hi, thanks, Bina, and hi to everyone. I have to apologize a bit in advance because I, like many of you, probably had to start early at a client call at 7 a.m. So I'm working remotely today, and I do have my 3 kids. So you may hear some noise in the background. So apologize in advance. But yeah, Bina, I've taken, I've worked years in data analytics and AI, as Blake had outlined. And I've really tried to take all of the knowledge from all of my years, 25 years in support services roles, and apply that to how we can be more predictive and proactive in the IT infrastructure domain. So we came up with a product within the last 2 years called Support Insights that I'm proud to share with everybody here and give you a bit more insight as we move forward.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about, Support Insights? What are some of the challenges that it does help address for our clients?
Yeah, sure. So our customers, manage data centers and all its associated IT equipment all over the world, right? And as you noted, these environments are incredibly complex, right? They're multi-vendor, they're heterogeneous, they have distributed applications running on them, some on-prem, some on cloud, and a lot of the clients' IT infrastructure, their budgets, the IT admins, the IT managers, they're shrinking, and skills are becoming increasingly more difficult to maintain. So clients really need to maintain more, manage more with less. And also, cybersecurity, is one of the biggest impacts to client brand images these days. They can cause significant downtime and revenue and client loss. So as a result, clients need to turn to evolve their support model from a reactive to this prescriptive, and increasingly need to deploy analytics, AI, and automation to help. And so what we've done with Support Insights in IBM is essentially create this digital platform that our customers can use to help them to manage, support, and maintain their IT estate, both for IBM and non-IBM, OEM equipment across all the different pieces of IT technology, compute, storage, networking. And the best thing about it, how we've approached is we include it with our support and maintenance contracts in IBM as an additional benefit. It's used by over 3,000 or about 3,000, almost 3,000 clients across all industries, financial, manufacturing, healthcare, down the line. And every day it's analyzing 4 million assets to find really risks, and then make recommended preventative actions based on the risks that we identify. So I mean, under the hood, we have about over 100 algorithms that quantify this risk with all the associated assets and provide those risks back to clients. And these algorithms, for Cisco alone, we generate over 2 million insights every day. So, using a combination of AI and automation, we help our clients really prioritize and action the most relevant issues so they can stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's great. Now, you got a pretty large set of clients that are using Support Insights, approximately 3,000 clients. So what does it help them accomplish? And tell us a little bit about what are the benefits that they're seeing by using Support Insights.
So we focus on four key areas to help them. Number one, we help them simplify how they manage their assets and their associated life cycles, and including having support coverage in the right places. Second, we focus on reducing their IT risk. So identify what are the most critical areas they need to action. Third, we focus on their overall support performance, number of cases, where are the cases happening. We highlight metrics and identify trends in the support activities to lead to better decisions. And then we also kind of wrap all this together by helping to improve their reliability and availability by helping to prevent issues that we suspect will happen or could happen before they occur. And actually, in a total economic impact study that was conducted by Forrester, they interviewed over 200 clients and estimated that IBM support services with Support Insights, would provide an aggregated company the benefits of a 68% improvement in accuracy of their inventory, a reduction in their maintenance of support spending of 25%, and that realizes an average savings of $4 million over 3 years.
So that's pretty significant. How does it provide these type of benefits? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
So you mentioned a lot of data sources.
Yeah.
We connect to all these data sources, right? We have IBM has its own contracted inventory in data lakes and data models, databases, and then we use our proprietary data collector called Technical Support Appliance, but we can also use to third-party collectors like Cisco CSPC, and we try not to introduce any more collecting because clients collect enough itself. So we're starting to use things like IBM Call Home that you mentioned before to bring in some of this data to tie the picture together. And then so with these collectors or these connectors, we can automatically discover IT assets across the data center, including IBM and third-party equipment. And regardless of the method, we provide this kind of consolidated view of the inventory from servers, storage, networking, as well as virtual machines with their operating systems and firmware. And then we can take that inventory, we analyze it, we find the risks that could lead to outages, supportability issues, and even security breaches, and provide some recommendations on how to remedy them. So we really focus, finding risks and assets in a few key areas with recommendations on, number one, security vulnerabilities. So CVEs are common vulnerabilities and exposures. You get that from NIST. Gaps in support coverage, so they don't have issues when they try to open support cases. And then life cycle events like end of support for hardware, operating systems, firmware. We also highlight vendor notices. So, like Cisco, for example, uses alerts to alert issues when it can cause a failure to boot or major performance degradation. And then we also provide some views into operating system diversity. So also called sprawl, to avoid this kind of sprawl of code levels and the headache of managing all these different levels across the multiple systems.
Yeah, and that's a real challenge when you have a large environment, for sure. And earlier you talked a little bit about, you mentioned 3,000 clients in multiple different industries. Can you talk a little bit more about some specific examples in these different industries, and what are the benefits that different clients are seeing in the different industries?
Sure. So I chose three here. We have a healthcare customer who really wanted to see their OS, their operating system, and firmware levels. And they've actually said that this is one of the best tools in their IT shop to help them, maintain their software currency and keep their products not only current, but also secure on the recommended levels. Second is a financial customer. It's a heavy IBM Power user, but they need an accurate view of their inventory, really to focus on how they stay compliant with their internal policies. And they called it essential for managing their power systems. They use our reports to track and plan their inventory and lifecycle decisions, and help them make lifecycle decisions. And then finally, municipality and government in Canada, where I'm from, city of Kamloops, they use Support Insights to focus on their Cisco networking infrastructure specifically, really to help device visibility. And they've been working with not only Support Insights, but our support staff along with them to help reduce their IT costs overall, because they increase the lifespan of the networking equipment they have, and that in turn improves their ROI.
Very good. So you talked about some of the capabilities, a lot of great capabilities that Support Insights already has, but I gotta believe, we're not standing still, right? You've got some more things coming. Where do you see Support Insights going next, and what are some of the key things on the roadmap?
So we are, like all of IBM and a lot of the industry, looking more and more at better uses of AI. We have a wealth of case information and service information that we can turn into, predictive views into patterns and hotspots and problem assets and where skills gaps exist. So we can use all that data to really help our clients be more proactive through these kind of predictive analytics. So we really want to improve in that area. With security CV analysis and the lifecycle planning, we're actually bringing a what if type of analysis to show, here's the level you're on, here's your security exposure, here's the recommended level, here's your company standard, here's what the posture is on each of those things, and it helps provide that value, that the statements to say, here's some facts why you should make these changes to help justify whether you should make an upgrade to your operating system or move to replace the hardware itself. So when we prioritize that and correlate it with the end of support risk, we can really help them make decisions about where to consider upgrading software or replace hardware, and to improve, really focusing on improving their security position. Thirdly, and this is near and dear to my heart, and you spoke a lot about it, how we do it in our kind of day-to-day processes behind the scenes, but we want to bring this in front to a customer for infrastructure AI ops. We really want to work towards shifting to real-time telemetry, anomaly detection, noise reduction, connecting to the IBM suite of applications we have, like Storage Insights and Stana and Turbonomics, to really kind of provide that full picture to a client, not only at the application level, but also at the infrastructure level. And then we want to take advantage of Watson X and its foundation models. It was recently announced at IBM Think at the conference, for really bring kind of a conversational AI interface using large language models and the evolution of AI-powered chat into chat ops.
Yeah, no, that's great. So, helping clients consume and get support the way they want. And some just want to be able to do it through some digital mechanism, right? So, so how do clients get started if they're interested in trying out Support Insights?
So we try to make getting started really simple. So I put a link to our product page here on IBM.com, and it can be found with a simple Google search for Support Insights. But that front page provides an overview of Support Insights, its capabilities, solution brief, an FAQ. And it really helps some answers that you might have right on the page. But from there, you can also access an online demo, which is a fully functional instance of Support Insights based on a sample customer. So you can go right in and take a look around. And then for companies who have IBM equipment under warranty or support contracts, we can get them started really quickly by clicking through to contact our global network of champions that we set up to help make this as simple as possible. And then obviously, if anybody has questions on this session, you want to talk about what we have to offer, you can email us at the address listed here, or reach out to me directly on LinkedIn.
That's great. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for sharing, a lot of great information around Support Insights and about this tool. As I started the discussion off and mentioned in my first slide, right, IDC, when they talk to clients and have done the surveys, the multi-vendor environments where you've got, multiple systems from different vendors, that's where more of the downtime issues occur versus single source. So having a tool like Support Insights with all the capabilities that you just talked about is pretty powerful, and I can definitely see where this is something clients can benefit from. So with that, I think we should go ahead and open it up for if there's any questions from the audience.
Sure. Thank you, Bina, Chris. Phenomenal session. Support Insights look really, really, really cool. I'd invite the audience to participate in answer any questions through the Q&A tab. Looks like we do have one quick question already. One from Rob. One request we've heard from our customers is if we have a way to proactively group tickets with a common issue as they come in, mostly based on initial ticket issues. Can Support Insights tackle that?
So Chris, I'll let you comment on that.
Yeah, I'm just reading through the question here as they come in, mostly. Yeah, so actually we do this a little bit within our CSP, our support portal today. As a ticket is actually being entered there, we have something called Case Insights that provides some level of compatibility or comparison correlation to recent issues that may have been surfaced already. So we are connected to our support infrastructure, but not part of the direct as the case gets open. So we'll be bringing in kind of as the types of problems we've seen over time, can we tie them together and provide this view? But actually, when you're opening a case in support with IBM, we provide some of this level already, but we'll be doing a lot more of the pattern recognition, more broadly, to really point to some common issues that are happening across different accounts or different clients with the same systems. We want to try and group those together and bring them into a view as well.
Perfect. Another question: can you elaborate on how predictive support analytics provide ongoing insights for preventative maintenance, including security and maintenance coverage alerts.
Yeah, I mean, this gets back to some of the things I think, Chris, that you talked about, right? Being able to have visibility into the data center and what levels of OSs or firmware that the various systems are running, and then be able to kind of proactively provide the, hey, you might want to think about this because you've got, a security patch, or there may be something you need to do with this firmware level that's not at the minimum recommended level, or we have a new set of capabilities out. So I think it's really around having that pane, single pane, through which you can get a holistic view of your data center, both from the hardware and the software perspective.
Very nice.
Chris, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you hit it,
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head.
Good.
Great. Okay, and then what are some challenges that organizations may encounter when implementing predictive and proactive support tools, and how can they be overcome?
Chris, you want to take that, or?
Sure. We've seen, so what we've heard from a lot of our clients when it comes to additional data collectors is there's security challenges. Usually they have to get sign off not only as an IT project to deploy anything, but also to get security clearance to be able to add some things. And so that's why we've really tried to align using the same technologies that we have with Call Home today, that uses, one pipe into IBM to say, okay, you're not going to open up all these different channels, using some connectors that already exist. So, we want to make sure we're not introducing more security problems when we go to deploy. And that's one of the things I've heard from clients quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one final question is, could you explain on how relying on vendors for optimized performance can help organizations save significant downtime hours and prevent unplanned outages?
Yeah, I mean, I can comment, and then Chris, you can add to this. I mean, we see oftentimes where, there are problems in a client environment where one system may not be configured, in an optimal way, and there may be challenges in the environment, and you start seeing some kind of a slow drain issue or slow performance. Sometimes people call it sick but not dead, types of issues, and really making sure each of the systems is tuned and optimized and configured properly can help with these very complex issues that aren't evident initially, right? You don't know where the problem is, and they take significant amount of time and sometimes do result in downtime. So really making sure the configuration is set up properly, the systems are optimized for performance, I think is really critical to make sure that you don't run into some of these complex issues.
Yeah, and I could just add that a little bit, Bina, is, in IBM, we provide this kind of multi-vendor support where you have one throat to choke type of thing. So you don't have to go kind of vendor by vendor, especially if there's a problem that could span across multiple different components or multiple different vendor devices. We can bring all that together and really help streamline and then manage those different support relationships on client's behalf.
Fantastic. Well, Bina, Chris, audience, thank you so much for a very amazing session. And we look forward to seeing you on future events and appreciate your time here. So with that, we'll close the session and invite everyone to continue on to the next one. So thank you.
Excellent.
Again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.